You're not boring. You're not basic. And you're definitely not just another coach. But if no one remembers you after they scroll past your stuff, you got a problem. And it's not a strategy problem. It's a story problem. This is the final day of L in the Only framework. Lead with your story. And I'm going to show you exactly how to stop sounding like a resume and start becoming unforgettable. You ready? Let's go. You were told that authority is built by showcasing your credentials, your experience, your toolbox, that if you sound smart enough, polished enough, impressive enough, people will trust you. But that's not how trust works anymore. People don't connect to your credibility. They connect to your humanity. Not, I was a TV executive for 20 years, which I said, but the moment I realized clarity, not credentials, is what actually sells a show. Not I help people build personal brands, but the moment I saw someone hiding their genius under a watered-down LinkedIn headline. That's the story, and that's what sticks. Most people confuse biography with story. I started in X, then did Y, now I do Z. That's not story. That's a sequence. Real story is emotional. It reveals how you see the world. It shows people what shaped you and why that matters for them. Like when Alicia told me, I don't even know what to share. I've done so much. I don't know what actually counts. So we pulled the thread and found the story of her losing her voice in a career that looked successful from the outside. Once she started sharing that truth, right, clients came to her because they felt seen. Or when Jeremy said, I built a SaaS company that made millions, but I never felt like I could share what I really believed in, he thought vulnerability would weaken his authority. But the moment he told the truth about what wasn't working, that's when his community exploded. That's the power of leading with your story, your unique story. So as you know, I spent 22 years in unscripted television, and I helped build hits like 60 Days In, Intervention, Book First Day In, and you know what every hit had in common? All of those. It wasn't the concept, though that helped. It wasn't the shock factor, though that got someone's attention, but it was the story underneath the story. 60 Days In worked because it showed how people change under pressure. It showed when people walked into a jail, they just wanted to help in a world that we haven't seen before. Intervention worked because it revealed what addiction does to a family. You saw it every time we had an intervention. It brought that family together to save a life. And zombie house flipping worked because it wasn't about houses. It was about comeback stories. Now, the comeback story was in that house, but why people loved that was because of the crappy to happy and the story of seeing that unbelievably distressed property become the best new product and house on the block. Nobody really remembers plot, but they remember how you made them feel. Same is true for you. And every conversation I have with an entrepreneur, I hear some version of this. I don't know what to share. I don't want to trauma dump. I don't think people care. But that's fear talking. And fear will always push you to hide behind safe language, generic content, forgettable positioning. We're afraid to put ourselves out there. And the truth is, if you've ever been through anything hard, and you've heard my story, I've gone through a lot in the last 18 months. If you've ever seen something differently than the rest of your industry, and I know you know that because you probably are like, why don't my bosses understand? Why don't they get it? And if you've ever felt like you didn't fit the mold, which, boy, a lot of us probably felt that at the beginning, but we became a mold. And it's really suffocating. And I know you probably didn't feel that. If you have any of that, you've got a story. You really do. You just haven't been taught how to tell it. So here's the move. Name the moment you realized something needed to change. Name the moment you realized something needed to change. I know when I wanted to offer my family a whole lot more than I was giving them. What did you believe before? Well, I believed that my trajectory within the entertainment industry was going to offer everything I wanted. And what do you believe now? That owning my own journey will offer my family everything that they deserve, but also I can help more people like you with your positioning and taking all my years of experience. And then name the belief your audience needs to let go of. The belief is that you're just okay with today. And it's really scary to enter tomorrow. But I can help you. I can help you. What's keeping them stuck? What's that audience that's keeping them stuck? What's the old story? Name the transformation that's possible. I'm not talking about the outcome. I'm talking about that identity shift. Let me show you. Here's the before. I thought authority was about being impressive. After, realized it's about being clear. The belief that I help people break, I have to water myself down to be accepted. You don't have to. The transformation, I promise, is you get to build a brand around your truth, not your title. That's how we find your $2 bill story, not the story that sells you, the story that reveals you, not the story that sells you, the story that reveals you. When people hear your story, they don't think, oh, wow, that's cool. They think, oh, wow, that's me. That's when they buy. That's when they trust. That's when they follow. You're not here to be impressive. You're here to be remembered. And that starts with the story only you can tell. Be the only, be the $2 bill. And I'm going to see you next week, next day, for Why of the Only Framework, where we're going to bring it all together.